Welcome everybody to what is the slightly special 10th Pokemon of the Week video. Hasn't time flown? Well, not really, because this is now 10 or 11 weeks into proceedings. Anyway, you can tell this is special because the background, rather than being a majestic, marvellous purple, is now a weird orangey brown concoction. Anyway, the Pokemon that was voted for by you, the viewers, for this week is Salamence, number 373. And it is a Pokemon that very much lives in the overused tier. It has two abilities, both of which are very good abilities indeed. Intimidate lowers attack of the opposition by one stage as you switch in, and the hidden ability is Moxie, which means for every kill that Salamence gets, its attack goes up by one stage. That is a frightening ability on a Pokemon with this much attacking potential, as you can see from the base stats. With a base 135 in attack, you're going to mow down pretty much everything that comes across you, and the things that you can't mow down with your physical assault is going to get destroyed by a base 110 special attack. And its speed isn't half bad either, matching most in the tier. For a dragon as well, it's pretty bulky. I mean, for a Pokemon in general, it's incredibly bulky. But with base 80, which is pretty average, don't expect massive potential off it on the bulky side. But I'm going to talk more about the bulky side and why not to use it later on in the video. So the first set is what I've determined to call the set. Salamence's first set that I've done here is a set that was especially common in the previous generation, but has stood the test of time very well indeed. And the reason it is so dangerous is because it is a hideously difficult set to counter. Let me run it down for you. Dragon Dance boosts your attack and speed by one stage. That in itself is a very good boosting move. But Salamence is arguably the best user of Dragon Dance in that its base 135 attack, which is enormous even with minimal EV investment, is going to plough through nigh on everything when combined with Outrage. A base 120 power move plus stab onto that, making it 180, and for sake of argument put a life orb on it as well. Why not? Your power is going to go up another 30%. To combine with this, you can have Earthquake. Earthquake being a very good choice because it hits all the steel types that don't fly or levitate. And for the steel types that do fly and levitate, the move that rounds this set off brilliantly is Fire Blast. There are a lot of bug steel types in OU. Not as many now. Genesect has been moved, but a lot nonetheless. And Fire Blast normally hits all of them on its weaker defensive stat. And that is why the special attack EVs are there, because you can't boost your special attack, so keeping it very high is very important. What you'll actually find is early in the proceedings of a battle, you won't use this too often. You might try and catch a wall on the switch with a Fire Blast, but it's only at the end of the game when the opposition is battered, bruised, and hopefully for your sake paralysed, and without ice types, with Ice Shard or Donphan, you can pretty much wreck shit up, colloquially put. With Moxie in particular, this set, once it gets going, is an absolute beast. Really, you can have both abilities though for this set. The reason to use Moxie is that you have more sweeping potential, and that's what Salamence does best. Intimidate makes switching in easier, but on balance I would go for the Moxie ability for that. The EVs are a bit unusual compared to what you might think. The reason to go for this is because with 252 speed EVs and naive, by default you're going to at least speed tie with all speed plus nature base 100 Pokemon like you, and there are quite a lot of them in OU, so losing to them on speed is a bit of a disaster. It also means that you'll definitely outspeed the other main, well, one of the other main dragons in a Hydreigon, and you can put Dragonite into that as well, but bear in mind that Dragonite has extreme speed. The second set is the Choice Scarf set, and this is sort of, from my experience, the set that replaced the Mixed Ments as the most common set going. That's only my experience, only it could vary somewhat. But it runs very much in a different way to what the first set runs, because basically you have two major options, and it all goes down to what final move on your moveset you wish to pick. Because if you go for Fire Blast, for the reasons aforementioned in the previous set, you have the choice of going for the naive nature. If you're deciding to go to Aqua Tail, you can have Jolly, and there's a major credit for going for Aqua Tail, other than it goes off your better attack stat, which with this set gets full attack investment as well. A Pokemon of which to nail with Aqua Tail is, fancy rhyme there, is Gliscor. That is an incredibly frustrating Pokemon for an unboosted Salamence normally to get through. And if you don't run Aqua Tail or Dragon Dance on this Salamence, you're not going to get through Gliscor very easily at all. And you know, it can Stone Edge back at you, so you've got to be very careful. It is, again, a very difficult set to counter. It's not quite as difficult as the first set, simply because its sweeping potential is far lower. But this is a set that will catch many people out. Well, or it used to. It doesn't now because it's so common. But it used to catch people out, I can tell you from previous experience. Mainly because a lot of the Pokemon in OU that are Scarfed are either base 100 or a bit lower. And the ones that are Scarfed that are quicker, well, there aren't that many. You might have Espeon, you might have Gengar. They're the two key examples of Choice Scarf potential users that are quicker than you. But there aren't too many of them, so being able to catch them off reasonably by surprise is quite a good asset. Moxie's definitely the ability of choice for this set, for obvious reasons, because, you know, you've only got usually only physical moves, and the only special move you could possibly run is a move you will only use when you're trying to hit normally Pokemon that are quad weak to you anyway. So going for anything that can make your attack better and stronger is a very good idea. With the exception of an Adamant Nature. It may be tempting to go for an Adamant Nature to get even more attack. Trust me, it is not worth the risk of being outsped by so many Pokemon in OU. Remember, a lot of the legendaries have 100 base stats across the board, and if they run Jolly or Timid, they're all going to outspeed you. So it really is not worth it to get a little bit more attack. The third set is a set that I used to run on Pokemon Battle Revolution, so it kind of says it's a little bit outdated. I have tried it, however, competitively in this generation, and it does still work very well, mainly because this genuinely does surprise people. Unlike the Choice Scarf set that used to surprise people, the Salamence special set with this variation really does catch people off guard. The way to use this is very simple. If you think that there is a Pokemon that is really going to cause you problems like Gliscor, which is very commonly a Pokemon that causes Salamence problems, this is a set that can actually defeat Gliscor, because it has on it Hydro Pump, which I believe is an egg move if you're going to try and do this legitimately. Hydro Pump probably through Kingdra, I'm thinking about it. Hydro Pump is a base 120 power water move on the special side. And remember, Gliscor has superior physical over special defense, so you'll be nailing it hard. The other reason you need to use Hydro Pump on this set is because without it, Heatran is going to, as I have seemingly got a catchphrase for now, Heatran will ruin your day without Hydro Pump, and it will mock you. The reason why this set is what it is: Substitute means that you are going to be immune, effectively, from anyone that's switching in that's trying to try and Ice Shard you away. And that is very common as a ploy, especially with Donphan, because Donphan can take physical hits very well, and can obviously run Ice Shard as well. By using Substitute, obviously the Substitute will be destroyed by an Ice Shard, but you won't be, meaning you have a move of choice to go between the three, and I have picked the 3 strongest moves available to go with this set, for the simple reason that Normally you will only get to do this surprise once in a battle, so you have to make the most of it. And the reason for that, you know, effectively is why the white herb is there. The white herb, before the idea of shell smash, was very rare and not many people used it. What white herb does is, say for example you use Draco Meteor. Normally that would lower your special attack by 2 stages, wouldn't it? White herb prevents this downgrade of stat once. So you can see where I'm coming from here. Draco Meteor with stab included is a power of 210. So firing off 2 of those is going to take down anything that doesn't resist it, except Blissey. Key example. Blissey actually does horribly ruin this set. So if you are frankly unlucky enough to have Blissey come in on you, which would be suicide normally, you do get stuck. So you do have to play this very carefully, because if they twig that you do not have any physical moves, you will get a pounding. This is one of the few sets for a Salamence that you can run without having to go for a speed plus nature as well, because of the nature of substitute. And you do want to boost your special attack power at all costs. Fire and water actually, apart from not being able to hit dragons very well, provides very good coverage, and you don't need coverage for dragon because Draco Meteor is going to crush the lot of them. You'll be happy to know that with all these Salamence sets, your IVs are going to be maxed throughout, so that's not very hard to work out. There is one thing I do want to quickly note with this set. Do be careful not to make your HP divisible by 4, because you really don't want to have to sacrifice the potential to get another substitute up. You need to be able to get another sub up, usually. Okie dokie. Now this is a special, and I've got to try and do something a bit different. I'm not doing a 4th set, but I am going to do a little extra slide that says to you, don't do the following with Salamence. There are 2 things that people try constantly to do with Salamence, and you really should not do it whatsoever. The first one of these 2 is the bulky ments with Roost. That sounds like a great idea in principle if you have Intimidate with it. You've got reasonably good bulk with 95, 80, 80, and that sounds like a really good idea because Roost means you can drop your flying typing for the turn that you've used Roost, and that means you're going to have a great type. Pure Dragon is fantastic for some certain resistances. The reason not to do this is because Dragonite has multi-scale or multi-scale for the American viewers. Using multi-scale means that whenever your Pokemon is at full health, it takes half damage. So you can see how Roost can really be abused in, alongside multi-scale. And you have to remember that Dragonite is bulkier than Salamence as well. And I haven't put it here, but it also has access to a priority move. So there really is no reason to run that set with Ments. If you're going to go for a bulky Dragon set, you use Dragonite if you're in the top tier, or Latias, and if you're in the lower tier you use things like Altaria. The second option that people shouldn't use, but people frequently do, is the Choice Spec set. The reason not to use this is even more simple. There are 2 Pokemon that do it far better, and Hydreigon and Latios are those 2 Pokemon. Both of them have typings that produce better stab moves, and both of them have higher special attack. So there really is no reason to use Salamence. Do remember, Salamence is Dragon Flying. You will never ever see a flying type move on Salamence, because it can't learn Air Slash, and frankly when you go to other special moves that are flying type, you're really struggling. There's Hurricane, it doesn't learn that either. So don't use Choice Specs. Please people, it's really not worth it. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. You should know already what next week's is if you've paid attention, but if not, I'll leave it on at the end. See you later. If you enjoyed the video you've just seen, please join my Facebook group and follow me on Twitter for the latest news.